What I wish I knew at 15 instead of 25? That healing isn't a solo trip, it's a family journey. Welcome to What Happens Outside of Love, a space where the masks come off, the truth gets told, and healing begins. I'm Dr. LaQuita, and I'm joined by my cousins Diontrise and Shanita. Together, we dive deep into those moments, memories, and mindsets shaped in the absence of love, and how we're finding our way back to it. This isn't just a podcast. This is a Cousins production, a raw, real, and reflective journey where family, faith, pain, and progress meet. Whether you're navigating trauma, rebuilding trust, or redefining what love looks like in your life, we see you, and we're walking this journey with you. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about what happens outside of love, because healing starts with the conversation. Ready to join us? Let's get started.
Well, hello, and welcome to What Happens Outside of Love, a Cousins production. I am your host, one of your hosts, LaQuita Parks, Dr. LaQuita Parks, and I am joined here with my cousin Shanita, and my cousin Dion will join us shortly. So we're three cousins having real conversations about family, love, and sometimes the absence of it.
Here, no topic is off limits. Together, we will explore how love shapes us and what happens when it is missing.
Well, so join us as we get into what happens outside of love. And I guess you guys might be saying, well, what happened to them? Where they been? What we've been absent for a while. But we're back. We're back. And listen, a lot has been going on in our world since we have been away, right, Shanita? Life's been lifing. When I tell you, life has been lifing. It has really been lifing. So, Shanita, what's been going on in your world, girl? So tell everybody. Let's take this time to reintroduce ourselves.
Yes. Well, I am Shanita Dawson-Ugwuoke. I am a two-time best-selling author. One is Our Journey. Oh, I can't even get that right.
Don't be nervous, girl. Don't be nervous.
Girls to Women. And the second one is Women of the Waiting Room 2. I'm also a pay-per-view nominated winner for my contributions to our journey from Girls Journey. My story, Trauma Tried to Kill Me. And as you can see, a part of our Cousins podcast, we talk about what happens outside of love. So that's who I am. A mother of 5, a grand of 5, a wife, and I dip and dab in the little things.
Okay. Well, you know what, Shanita, what was I thinking? And now, so let me say how we're cousins. And yes. I'm in the middle. So it's the Cousins podcast because Shanita is the cousin on my mom's side. And we didn't grow up together. But we're growing to know each other as adults, and so far it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride,
like a train ride.
And we are indeed cousins because we have a whole lot of similarities. We are indeed cousins. You see the nose. And so once Dion's running just a few minutes late, she had to take care of some things because life be life, and the smile, life be life. And but when she comes, then she's going to introduce herself. But for me, most of you guys know me. And for those who don't, my name is Dr. LaQuita Parks, and I am the CEO and founder of Pay-Pro-V Publishing. And Pay-Pro-V means pain, progress, victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress. And without progress, there can be no victory. So I simply love helping people take their stories from a thought to a realization. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And we just celebrated 5 years. We celebrated 5 years, and my cousins were there with me. So when I tell you I am super, 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 super excited, I am super excited. I don't know what's going on here with this thing popping up on LinkedIn, but that's okay. We just going to keep growing. We're going to keep rolling with it. Life is life. Things happen that are beyond our control. And if you don't know that, look around in the world. We were just talking about all of the domestic violence and all of the, things that's happening. A lot of things, what's in the news lately is Chicago. A lot of things happening in Chicago, in the world, period. So we're back. We're back. And so what happens outside of love, a cousin's production? We talk about all things that happens that happens outside of love, because love makes the world go round. But when there is no love, when there is an absence of love, or when one, and it doesn't even mean an absence of love. So Shanita, if you don't, what happens if you, as a parent, I love my children, but as children, sometimes you don't feel loved by your parents.
Right.
So what happens outside of love when you don't feel love?
You just it's chaotic. You're all over the place, trying to find your way.
Trying to find yourself. Everything happens. I did we celebrate the 5 years, and it was a beautiful ceremony, and thank you so much. So thank you to my cousins who were there and who were there supporting me and just bought into the vision. Thank you so much to the sponsors, and we had a really, really great time. But I've done a lot of stories. A lot of stories. I've helped people write a lot of stories, and there were a lot of things happening, and all of those things happen outside of love. There were now there's the outside of love, but there's also the I love you and what that meant. And it didn't mean those nice and beautiful butterflies and sunshine and roses kind of love. It was the I love you and it hurts, know. So that's all those things happen outside of love. So Shanita, tell us, some things. What are your thoughts on things that happen outside of love? Share some experiences that you've had.
Oh, insecurity is the biggest. If I could choose any word, insecurity will sum it up, because you're not only feeling insecure, you're feeling unloved, unwanted. You start questioning yourself, well, why am I even here?
Mm-hmm.
And I went through a phase of I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I don't even know how I was keeping a clean face, honestly.
What?
Yes. So, like, we can say depression, but it's still insecurities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you're not sure of who you are, where you're going, if you're going to ever come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you so deep dark in the hole that you can't even see the light.
Mm.
So, like I said, that's the only word I can use to sum up everything, because I've been there, and I can tell you it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God that little angel was sitting on this right shoulder, whispering in my right ear, while the demon was on my left shoulder trying to knock my left ear off and my head.
Mm.
So thank God that little bitty angel was able to whisper sweet sounds in my ear.
Mm.
It was to the point that I remember sitting there and I said, well, I can't walk. I can't do nothing. I don't want to embarrass my kids. And I was like, I'm going to slice my arm.
Oh, wow.
And just sitting there, as soon as I went like this, the kids started knocking on my door. Mama, what you doing? Because they know normally I will open up the door. I tell them to come open the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, thank you, Lord, for that, because I knew what I went through I contributed to it. Let's just be real.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we know it shouldn't have happened, I did play a role, because we get ourselves in situations, God will pull us out, and we try to justify it to get back in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because insecurities lead us back to the drama and the trauma.
Mm-hmm. You know what you said something. I'm sorry. You said something. You said I played a role, and that's important, because sometimes things happen, and if there's more than one person involved, everybody plays a role. Now that doesn't mean that you're the bad person, and that person's a good person, and vice versa. That means that we all played a part. And what was my part? And I like that you said that, because you're like, God was saying, hey, don't go there. And that is amazing, because sometimes God is telling us to remove ourselves from things that we ain't got no business being in. And we steady trying to hold on to something that we don't need to be holding on to. And the blessing can't come until we let go of that thing that we're supposed to let go of. You gotta let it go. I ain't gonna lie, been there, done that, wrote a book about it. Exactly. Wrote a book about it, and it became a bestseller. So so it's keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Since we talked, because we was talking earlier about everything with domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it. Some viewers may not like my point of view, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because truth is truth.
Don't get us canceled, girl.
And living our truth. Okay.
All right. That's
so
right.
I feel like everything cannot be 100% your problem. Like I said about my situation, I was like, oh, I was tired of this man, but I loved him. I loved him because it's the right thing to do, and I loved him because I wanted this big picture that I always had in my mind as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and I talked about it in my story, when my coworker said, girl, that man ain't gonna change. Do you know God took that man from me, put that man in jail, and then that man got out of jail, and I went right back to that man.
Mm-hmm.
And then sat there not even long enough, and then that man tried to knock me off the face of the earth.
Loving yourself outside of love. And so
exactly.
that was his kind of love, which wasn't good love. Here we go, cousin.
Yeah.
Hey, girl, listen, before Dion start, y'all notice the shirts? Y'all notice the shirts?
Somebody turn around and show the back. Turn around and show the back.
Okay.
Yes.
What happens outside of love? We in the house, y'all. We are in the house. Hey, cousin.
Hey, who you talking to?
Dion. We got
we got a lot of cousins. You see another cousin out here?
Yeah, right. So one of the things about us that you guys will come to know is that we love to laugh. And so I was saying earlier, Dion, I'm in the middle because Dion is the cousin on my daddy's side. Shanita is the cousin on my mama's side. And so we are the cousins production. And listen, we are all related. Look at us. We all look alike, except for the two light-skinned ones over here.
I'm in the middle.
I'm the darky. I'm the darky.
You're the middle, but you're the glue that holds us together. How about
that? That is
just think about it, how it worked out. You get to be in the middle because you're the glue to pull us together.
And it's funny, and I'm a middle child too. I'm the middle child. I'm a Libra. I don't do much with zodiac signs, but I'm Libra, so we balance the scales.
See,
we like balance. But Shanita, go ahead and finish what you were saying, and then Dion, introduce yourself and tell us.
Let Dion introduce herself first, because I go on and on.
Go ahead.
As I was saying, God took him away. He came back, and I put myself back, and then I said that he tried to take me off the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, when I could talk, and I was telling everybody, don't feel sorry for me, because use my story as a lesson. Mm-hmm. Everybody is not blessed as I was. Mm-hmm. Some were not. And I tell people all the time, you see the red flags, walk away. Mm-hmm. It's okay to want to be loved, but if you don't love yourself and know your value for yourself, who is going to love you? Mm-hmm. And so we have to know when to walk away.
Somebody wrote a song about it. I think it was Kenny Rogers. Said you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Now, he was talking about gambling. Okay. But the same concept in relationships. You got to know when to hold them. I like that song. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There's time enough for counting when the dealing's done. That can preach right there. Okay.
That's a whole sermon.
That's a whole sermon.
Because you know what? A lot of times when we are not in love and we're operating outside of love, it's like Kenny Rogers. We're gambling. His song is about gambling. So we are gambling our life away. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we're gambling our life away, and I get it. It's not baseball. Stop playing with our lives. It's not 1, 2, 3 stretch you out. We got to stop playing baseball. Honestly, we are living in our last days, and we really have to stop playing baseball with our life. And like I said, I'm in the city where the wife just got knocked off. I mean, I know that's the wrong word to say, but been in that situation. Now, me with my ex, I was approached many times by other women, but thank God that I had my right mind to know to walk away. I've never approached anybody about him, but I had, I was always approached about him. And you just lost your life. And we got to stop. One, social media is good when it's being used for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But we got to stop living a life that's not according to God. And I know we talk about love, but we still got to give God all the glory.
Well, because that's where love, that's the foundation of love. So we can't have love. We can't talk about love without talking about God. That's asinine. So that's the foundation.
And if we don't walk according to his way, we're going to fail every time. And like I say, social media is good. It's good. But we need to know, stop living a life that is not real.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And I remember telling people when I was like in my early 20s, we got married, with my ex-husband, got married when I was 18. So in my early 20s, I remember one of my old friends, I met her because I was a teen parent. So she was a grown woman. So I met her when I was pregnant with my firstborn. And I remember she used to say, girl, y'all living y'all best side. I said, girl, if you only knew, it looked good on the outside, but you come in the inside. I would tell people that all the time. They'd be like, girl, what she talking about? One, I didn't state everything because I was embarrassed, because I was like, hey, it's better than where I come from. So I'm going to accept it, right? And when that happened to me, now everybody understood what I was saying, that I was saying 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. Nobody would get it because we are put on a persona that is not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we really have to look at ourselves. And women, yes, God built up Adam first. He created us from his rib, right?
Yep.
Do not get that confused with you got to be a flow mat.
Because the Bible don't say that nowhere.
It's nowhere in the word. And if we realize, why did God take us, Eve, from Adam's rib? Because he needed somebody to have his back, to give him that strength when he is weak.
Helpmate.
So we need to internalize what that really means. Not, oh, he slapped me today, he bring me dinner. And when I said it sounds funny because I'm always smiling. Even when I'm hurt, I still be smiling, laughing it off, hurting, crying inside. I'm just a smiler anyway. But
I think we all
I remember that my ex-husband, when he would abuse me, he'll come back like, come on, where we're going to eat. And it's funny because just about 2 weeks ago, somebody was making like a meme on Facebook about it. It was a woman abusing her husband. Like it wasn't real. It was for your pleasure or whatever FYP means. And she was abusing the husband. And after she got done abusing him, she said, "Oh, what? Them shoes you looked at last week? Come on, let me go buy them."
I saw that. It wasn't funny. That wasn't funny to me.
It wasn't funny to me because it was a trigger for me. Because that's how my ex-husband used to be. He would abuse me, and soon as he done and he feeling himself and he okay now, he want to treat me out. People, not ladies, because people, let's stop letting people get away with things. Stand our ground. And one thing is women, nasty. I forgot one of the prophets. I remember I went to the meeting in the ladies' room. It was not Ann Ness, because I always get her name confused with the old singer. But she said, women, if you just read your word and see the power that God has given you, you hold the power. And we as women, first, we need to evaluate, check the scenes. And a lot of things, not saying that we deserve it, a lot of things we fall for. Yes, we are born to be nurturers. That is natural for us to be nurturers. But when it's wrong, it's wrong. Let wrong be wrong. Do not turn that wrong into a right.
But here's the thing too. You got to identify what's wrong and what's right, because that looks different for everybody.
Everybody.
And it depends on what you want. Let's put a pin in this right quick. And Dion, let's bring you into the fold. Go ahead and introduce. Welcome back, y'all. Shanita and I done talked about our welcome back. So where you been, girl? We've been gone for a while, just a couple months, but we're back now. So let's reintroduce yourself, Dion. Let the people get to know you.
Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Dion. I'm just playing.
There you go.
I'm Diontrise. Lately in life here, I've been going by Dion. So hello, everyone. Welcome to this Cousins production. Life, as they say, it's clearly been lifing. The whole fabric, atmosphere of the universe that we're living in is just, it's something. I mean, I don't know about you ladies, but for me, I wake up in the morning, and as soon as it feels like I'm waking up, it's time to go back to sleep at night. So I'm not sure how this world is turning. What was the soap opera As the World Turns? But it's clearly turning, and for me, too fast. I feel like it has left me. God forgive me, but that's what I'm feeling. So that's what I've been up to. I'm trying to adjust to the time that we're in, because there's a lot going on in the spirit realm, in the physical. It's just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I've been. And what about you all? I guess I missed that portion of that.
Well, we talked about the 5-year anniversary, celebrating that, finish with that. We didn't talk about, listen, while we were gone, guys, and we have been bonding. So I said we like to laugh, we love to laugh, we love to have fun. And we like to bond. We are related. We are all three related. We're cousins. We took a train ride. We went on a train ride down to Birmingham, Alabama, on the Amtrak train. That was my first time on the Amtrak train. And we spent, we just went there just for a train ride, just for the experience. But while we were there, we had an opportunity to hook up with Carolyn Coleman, who lives in Birmingham, Alabama, and to kind of bond on the train. Now, so these two ladies, I'm telling our business, y'all. These two ladies, they nap, okay? One of them napped all the way down while I talked to one, and the other one napped all the way back while I talked to the other. I didn't even close my eyes, okay? Because that's not me. I need to know what's going on. I'm not that comfortable. I have to be very, very comfortable to go to sleep in a moving vehicle, okay? So I don't typically close my eyes, but it was good for me because Dion and I didn't grow up together either. So it was good to have the conversations together, and then have the conversations with each cousin, and to see how very much we are related. So it's fun. And then, for the 5th-year anniversary, I kind of volunteered my cousins to co-host the event with me. And they said yes. They did. They said yes. And I am grateful for them. And just getting to know the cousins has been really, really great. So what happens outside of love, if we didn't have love for each other, so we're family. So we automatically, you would think we automatically have that love for each other. But you can't just let it sit there. You got to nurture it. You got to water it. You got to allow the love to grow. And how do you do that? You got to get to know each other. Get to know what's this and what's that, and just see how much we really do have in common. Mm-hmm. So that's where we are with this love thing, is cousin love. So we got a lot that go on in families, and so we can talk about it because we family, and we know that what happens in our families happen in y'all families. So we're not trying to, beat our family and drag them through the dirt. We just tell them the truth. So there are a lot of things that happen outside of love. So Shanita lives in Tennessee. Dion and I are here in Georgia. So Dion and I had a chance to meet yesterday because Dion had my shirt. Okay. So I had her shirt. She had my shirt. So we met. And so we had an opportunity to sit yesterday and just talk. just talk, and it was really, really nice. And sometimes cousins, sometimes people, you just have to sometimes find somebody you can trust and sit and talk to,
Yep.
not in a way that they're agreeing, because these ladies are going to tell me like, no, girl, no, don't do that. So they're going to be honest with me. So you want somebody that's going to be honest with you, that because that's love. That's what love is. Not somebody with some superficial stuff trying to, to tell you something without telling you the truth. They're trying to agree with everything that you say. That's what happened to Michael Jackson. I'm just saying. So, Dion, what's been going on, as from a what happens outside of love standpoint? Give some examples, and that's what we started with, Shanita. Give some examples. Give us an example of an experience that you had, with something that happened, and it happened outside of love. There was no love there, whether it was somebody or whether you were told you were loved and you didn't feel love. Give us an example of that.
Um, that's an interesting perspective. I think I think a lot has happened to me in life. Um, finagling, for instance, the relationships that we have. I'm going to use my parental relationships, right? My love, my relationship with my mom and my dad. Kind of a strange thing. And since, we're talking about family relationships, I think our parents are posted to the world. So how we relate to them is typically how we relate to other people. And so I know for me, um, growing up as a child, I was always told I'm very spoiled, and I get all this attention or whatever. And, but I think growing up and looking back, and I think part of that is true. Like my dad, for instance, he did pay a lot of attention at a point in my life, but then he stopped.
Mhm.
But what I noticed is that I carried forward that need for attention into my adult life.
Mhm.
Um, and so my mom all the time, she would be like, I don't know. I told her the other day, so I think I could share it, but I was like, I think there was a bit of jealousy there. And I've heard people talk about how when the baby girl is daddy's girl, and mama kind of a little jealous.
Mm.
But she ain't gonna never admit it. So um it kind of is what it is, but I think it kind of contaminated my idea of love because it was always this, um, her trying to tell me, in other words, like your daddy really don't love you. I'm the one that loves you, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
it was kind of strange, and it I kind of mauled it over my head in a lot of instances. But what I really came to the conclusion is sometimes she wasn't loved. So the attention that I was receiving from my dad, she never received that attention. And
Mm.
so it affects you because now the jealousy comes into play, and what you see in me receive, now you want it.
Mhm.
But instead of being real with yourself, and I think it has caused this great divide between she and I. And I can really say from my heart, I love my mom. I mean, I wouldn't be here had she neglected to stand her post and
Mhm.
make sure I arrive. And I'm indelibly grateful to her for that. But I just think I want her to admit, like, see it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where healing takes place, when we can confront an issue and say, hey,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know what? I can kind of see where you're coming from, but oh no. I told her the other day she was about to jump out her skin and jump down my throat. And I'm thankful that she's still alive and I could say it. And so I'm saying it here because I could say it to her. Like, I'm not going to say anything to you that I'm not going to say to her.
Mhm.
But I think the most, for me, it has shaped the way I look at everything. So I'm not trusting in any relationship. Whether
Mhm.
it's romantic, a man say he love me, I'm like, yeah, right, prove it.
Prove it.
I'm from
Trust
Missouri.
but
There's so many
verify.
states.
Trust but verify.
Yeah, I gotta trust, confirm, and verify. But it's because of the way that I was reared. It's like this toggle.
Mhm.
When you're just in rooted and grounded in this environment of love, instead of your parents trying to sway and vibe. Like, He don't love you. Look what he doing. I'm like, that's my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And it ain't got nothing. What he doing ain't got nothing to do with you.
Right.
It's got everything to do with him.
And I said, and one time I said, I was like, can you just admit you were probably in love with the man? I ain't gonna even tell y'all what she said because that part I don't want to share on the thing. But I was like, but you wanna impact or you wanna infiltrate or contaminate my perspective of it, right? Mm-hmm. But she did that, and she did that really well. So she contaminated my perspective of it, where every man is concerned. I just don't believe it. Lord have mercy on me. I say this every day. Because it's going to take a whole lot for me to just feel love, because I'm like, this is just the way I grew up. This tug of war, like the maliciousness. You trying to tell me that my daddy was probably over here cheating? That was against you. That didn't have nothing to do with me.
Exactly. It didn't have nothing to do with you. And that's the thing. Especially a lot of parents, especially parents that are not together, that are not married or whatever, they get it's all confused. They put it all on the child, or they put the child in the business, and I'm like, what goes on with adults is not the children's fault. If he leaves, it's not the child's fault that he left. If he come back, it ain't the child's fault he came back. It's between those adults. And the problem is adults put it on children, and it messes them up for life. Relationships, it messes them up for life. And you find yourself, it's like I say, when you have children, all three of us have children, and we love our children. We spoil our children. When they come, they're beautiful. You love them, you love them, you love them. You kiss on them. They're the prettiest thing, cutest thing since wheat bread. And that's all they know for the first, 2-3 years of life before they have to go to daycare. Then, you embrace them, love them, ideally. Embrace them, love them, and then you send them, you take them, you drop them off at daycare. And then they run into these kids who didn't get that same thing. They didn't get the embracing and the love and the you're beautiful and all that. And then that child says, you ugly, you got a big nose, you got big lips. And then the diminish of the self-esteem starts, and that child tries to run from that big lip, that big nose for the rest of their lives. And that's where that self-esteem takes an impact, because we've said you're beautiful, we've said this, but then we release them to the world, and the world is much bigger than we are. So and we don't continue. We go, oh, don't mind them. But that's like you do 1,000 things good, you do one thing bad, everybody see that one thing bad forever and ever, forever and ever, always. You can't run from it. So we do ourselves and our children a disservice. And what we were talking about earlier too, Shanita, there is a perception or a stigma placed on what is and what is not a relationship, even with parenting. There are parents that you got parents who are having children and they were never parented themselves. So they're doing the best that they can. And oftentimes they take those same bad habits and they teach them to their children. So I tell people, be careful that you don't become that which you hate. I hate this. We have people in our family who were just didn't get along with their parents or didn't get along with whoever. And now they're adults now, and it's like they're the walking image of that person that they could not stand. It's like, wait, you just like them. I didn't like that he drunk, he was an alcoholic. Well, you are too. I didn't like that so you didn't like this person, you hated this person, and then you became that person. So be careful you don't become that which you hate. I love the fact that Dion, you can have, and whether she receives it or not, you can have candid conversations with your mom, because sometimes we get grown and we still can't say nothing because the parents like, don't talk to me, don't say nothing. My mom is gone, and I wish I would have been able to say something. And I said, and I can truly say, I was as honest with my mom as I could be when she was alive. I'm like, I don't have any regrets. I don't sit back saying, you know what, I wish I could have said this to her and I didn't. there were some things that she didn't like. I remember when my nieces, my mom was raising my nieces, and I remember her calling. I was at her house one day, and she was, ill, and she was like, if anything ever happened to her, she would like to know that I would take my nieces. I said no. I'm not. I can't. I said it doesn't mean that I don't love them, but I can't. I have 3 children of my own. I have raised my 3 children. My 3 children know my crazy. They know, and it would be unfair to my children to bring them into our environment when they've been used to something else, and they got a mama. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like they were orphans. It ain't like there was nowhere to go. It ain't like it wasn't that. It wasn't that these kids, I was the only option. It wasn't that. So I had to be honest with her. I had to be real with her because y'all getting ready to give me some stress that I'm not used to. And now my children been raised a certain way. They were raised to be, productive citizens in society, not to say that they wasn't. But then, we didn't do all those things that other people did at their house. It was not allowed at my house. So now I got to bring two people who used to doing this, that, and the third. Oh no. I'm sorry, mama. I can't make you that promise. No, you'll never have me trying to keep a promise to somebody that's not even living here no more. I can't do it. And I'm like you, Shanita. The viewers, the listeners might disagree with me, but listen, if you disagree or if you agree, send us a message. Send us a message. You can send me an email to LaQuita at communicate.com, and we can talk about it. We can. Because
standing in your truth, as I said, you must stand and live in your truth.
Yes, you have to. And that's that. And it's hard, but you know what? I have grown. Listen, I am an advocate for therapy. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. I love therapy. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, listen, I love therapy. I do. I look forward to it because number one, you have somebody who is trained in helping you navigate all of this stuff that's going on in your head. And sometimes there are so many people who feel like they don't need therapy, or it's taboo, especially in the Black community. We feel like therapy is taboo. But listen, I remember when my youngest daughter was she was doing her thing. She was wilding out. I remember I didn't let her go to her senior prom. And I remember somebody saying, "Oh, you're gonna ruin her for life if you don't let her go to her senior prom." Whatever they got therapists for. Okay, so she's 30-something years old now. If you got some problems because you didn't go to your senior prom, then you need to see a therapist. You need to work it out. Work it out with your therapist. And I will say in a minute, I'm working on LaQuita. You need to work on you. Okay, so I can't take your crazy with my crazy, because I can only deal with my crazy. And it is, and as I'm learning, it is okay for you not to be okay as long as I'm okay, because you're trying to invade my peace. So that's a real thing. And man, it's kind of like somebody say, who the hell left the cage open? Who left the gate open? Who left the gate open? Somebody was like, dang, LaQuita was in the gate, and LaQuita didn't know the gate was open. All it took for me, because sometimes you lean on it and then it'll move a little bit, and you're like, okay, did that gate just move? And then you'll lean on it a little more, and then the latch will kind of be jiggling, and it'll come loose, and you're like, wait. And then you'll lean on it because you want to make sure that this wasn't just a fluke. And then the gate open, and you're like, oh, shut. Somebody done left the gate open. I'm out. That's the
how we have to be. That's how it has to be. So sometimes we be wishing we can get out and we can't get out when we should have got out.
But I think it's the like you're saying, how LaQuita, Dr. Parks was just saying about her kids. Like, we're domesticated in a certain way, right? So I'm gonna call when y'all say my crazy and your crazy. My crazy is the way I was brought up, the way I was trained, right? The way you was trained, that's your crazy. It's your domestication, how you were domesticated to look at this world. And that's where you say therapy comes in, because what we don't realize, a lot of times we were just domesticated. What Jesus said. Let's just kind of bring it there for a moment. He said in John, I didn't come into the world to judge the world. I came into the world to save the world. He said, but the world, if you don't receive me, you're judged already. So he said, I came to be a light in the world, but men love darkness. So sometimes our domestication, we're talking about what happens outside of love. So what happens that outside of love part, that's darkness to me. Where we got molestation going on in our families, and we talked about that. I mean, our family like y'all family, so it's a lot of dark
what's done in the dark
go on. And when you want to say, and here's my only thing, and this is a conversation I've actually had with a member of our family. Hey, all you got to do is call darkness, and now you can better position yourself if you intend to go and walk into the light. But if you call the darkness light, now you're confusing the generations that coming behind you. Now we're confused. You calling these inappropriate sexual relationships light, and say, so if you say something is okay or is permissible, you shedding some light on that. You saying, okay, this is light. No, that's darkness. Right? And so when we come from these families that just have this immense darkness, and I just gotta say that's what I think it is. And I heard a pastor say this best. He said darkness, another word for darkness is simply ignorance. It ain't the big, it's dark and gloomy and scary. A lot of times it's ignorance. You want to remain unaware. But if someone is bringing something to your attention, and so, like, it's like me. If I'm molested by a family member, and I walk up to that family member when I get older, and I say, hey, why you did that to me? You know what I'm saying? Because I probably, if I got to that point where I could really confront you, I had to probably have forgiven you at some level, because otherwise I'm trying to do something else. I ain't talking to your face. Right. So if I came to you, but then I say that to you, and you're like, what? Touch you, molested you? I ain't did. No, what you talking about? You said something again about the zodiac sign. I read something. I'm a Leo, in case y'all don't know. And it said Leos like to avoid conflict. Because when they go in, you not gonna like them. They might turn your whole house upside down. They don't want to get into a conflict with you, so they want to avoid it at all costs. Because if they go there, you can't stop them. And that's me. I read it. I was like, yes. So I want to just keep it real. Like, just apologize and say, I didn't mean to do that. Somebody molested me. Now we can start to heal, right? But if you say, I don't know what you're talking about, and you grown now, like you made it into adulthood, so you okay.
Oh, so that's the response. Oh, you grown. You grown. And you know what? And there is no, and in the conversation, there has to be some, okay, well, where was I? Because what happened to me? What happened to that person? What happened to that person to make that person do what they did? Because it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle, and it can be broken because you get to choose. You get to choose. So it's a cycle where, okay, so something happened to you, and well, what happened to that person? And what happened? And when you look, it's a cycle that keeps flowing because there has not been a cutoff in it. There's not been a cutoff. There's not been a cutoff. There's not been addressed. There's not been a conversation. It keeps getting swept under the rug. And every time you walk out the door, you see the rug looks smooth, but every time you walk out the door, you don't know why you tripping when you walk out the door. Daggone it, what in the world is wrong with my feet? Every time I walk out this door, I'm stumbling out the door. And then coming in the door, you stumbling. It's like, what is that? Ain't nothing on the floor. Well, yeah, it is. It's because all of that stuff being swept under the rug has now caused the invisible mountain, a little bit bigger than a molehill, less than a mountain, I guess, that you're tripping over and you can't figure it out because the tail or the head hadn't been cut off.
And we have a lot of that, right? And it's there in the families, and we want to. Here's a real therapeutic or something to really deal with. How we grow up and we're domesticated in darkness, per se. And then we think we're gonna walk into a place of light. Lord have mercy on us, right? We think just kind of magically, like we've been used to this toxicity. And I heard you talking earlier, Shanita. But what we really have to do is just dwell on our home, our base environment, how we were domesticated. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's that is taking place on the outside of love. Because what I'm gonna here's gonna be a new definition for me. Love is understanding what is right, what is, you know what I'm saying, to kind of embrace.
Mm-hmm.
So like we got this sense of right and wrong. Do y'all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think what happens when we were growing up, and maybe you can attest to this because I can in my environment. You know, I know I've had my parents say it, or you know, I know I'm doing this, but I'm gonna change like one day. Like, you know, I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna do better.
Yeah, I'm gonna do better. So love to me is knowing that better is necessary. Well, better is necessary now.
Yeah, not in the future.
It's
Because it's not
now.
promised. The future isn't promised. So
Yeah.
right now, right
So if I
now.
love you, I ain't gonna change 5 years from now, right? I see that it's affecting you here in the here and now. Love is a present tense.
Mm-hmm.
And it like it, you know, it's like when we being in and out relationships, and I'm sure y'all can relate to this because we family, and you
No.
like when you don't have
No.
this past relationship, you be like, I loved him. Loved.
And then listen, and then you wait and look, 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, you like, I can't believe that I can't believe, because there was growth. But then when you see that person's still where they were 15 years ago, and you're like, well, I can't believe that because you're not even the same person anymore.
But,
You know?
but we're saying, but what I'm gonna say, if you loved them then, you should be loving them now. And I was like, we just been all kind of confused. Hold up, ring the bell over here, because I'm like, you know, I thought I loved you. Look, LOVED. Love is it's a present tense type of word. You agree?
But what's this thing? I'm sorry. What's this thing? I fell out of love with you. What is that? What is that? I fell out of love. What if God fell out of love with us? How do you fall out of love with somebody? And so you either love somebody or you don't, because now you might fall out of like with them, but you're supposed to love everybody, but you love them.
Can I get a footnote on that? We fall out of lust.
We fall in lust.
We do.
We fall in lust.
That's
the thing. We fall. We fall.
I'm just gonna be quiet.
We fall.
Yeah,
there's the only married person
right here. But
that's the only married person in the middle. You know.
That part. But no, like you falling in, but that ain't love.
It ain't love. It's lust.
Right now,
and it's fleeting. It's fleeting. It's for a season. It's just for a season.
So, but let's not call it love. Like, you know, might like
right.
say,
but
I'm digging you right now. Like,
who calling it love? Exactly. Because that, you know, back in the day, that was the trigger word, or that's
not a real you in, baby. You know, exactly. I love you.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like for me, you listen, you can't impress me by taking me out to dinner. I can take my own self to dinner. I can buy the things that I can do for myself doesn't impress me. And you telling me you love me, then love is action. Love means show me. For God to love the world that he gave. He did something. He showed it. So you just can't say I love you for empty and you want me to give you something. No.
And people misuse the word all the time, because I'm laughing at Dion from saying what she heard me say earlier, because I said I loved him. Like even today, honestly, I still love him.
That was before he tried to take you out of this world. So that will erase that.
I didn't even hear that.
No. But like honestly, I don't. Even to this day, I never say anything bad. Anything that I speak is facts that you can look up or you witness. Like people say all the time, "Girl, you crazy." I said, listen. I am an unconditional lover. If I love you once, I'm gonna love you forever. I may not mess with you. Don't get it confused. I may not mess with you, but I'm gonna love you because God said we must love everyone.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and that's why I say people throw around love. And I remember I said this to somebody, and I was talking about somebody. I said, "How can you be in love with all these people? So you in love with this person, but y'all ain't together no more. Now tomorrow you in love with this person. No, you like you said, you in lust. You ain't in love. You in lust because you cannot possibly be head over heels with somebody. Honest.
Because, but if you think about it, right? And we
They
were
don't have
talking
another
about
word
this,
to use. They don't have
you
another
know,
word to use.
Dr. LaQuita and I was talking about it. Like, there's a family dynamic at place in all of our families, right? And what happens when there is not an appropriate nurturing environment, right? So the father should demonstrate what love is to his daughters, to his son, to his wife.
Mhm.
Think about our families for a second, and that just wasn't the case.
Right.
Most papas is Rolling Stone. Daddy was a Rolling Stone, wherever he
Mine was. Mine
Mine
was.
was too. So it's like
No
there's
comment.
no basis for creating this loving environment, right?
Mhm.
So we're domesticated in an incorrect view of love.
Right.
So we go out and we like, I think I love you. Oops, right now. Let me see how much attention
Because
you
it feels
paying.
good. It feels good. That's
Because it's new.
as
It
long as it
feels good
feels
because it's
good.
new.
It's a feeling, but as long as it's kind of like happiness. You know, oh, you make me happy. Well, as long as I feel like what you're doing for me makes me happy, then I'm happy. But that's the wrong idea of happiness. Happiness is fleeting. Now, do I have joy? Now, I might not be happy about a whole lot of things, but I have peace and I have joy. So this might be, I might be happy. Listen, I might go outside and I might be happy, and then it start raining, and before you know it, I ain't happy no more. So it's like happiness is up and down. So you can't count on an individual to make you happy. You have to have
Right.
the happiness inside. But it's like a feeling. As long as you making me feel good, then I love you. But soon as you stop making me feel good and stop giving me what it is I think I want or what I need, I don't love you no more.
But
Right.
but that ain't love.
No, it's
Right?
not. It's not love. It's not love. And I'm not talking about people, there are situations where people still love each other, but the situation and circumstances are so toxic and unhealthy and detrimental that you have to break ties. You have to move. You have to separate. But that's not that's we're not even talking about that. That's the yo-yo effect of in and out of love. I love her today, and tomorrow I love her. And you got all these trail of what is it called? Soul ties. These trail of soul ties leaving the different, here you have, if you take a piece of yarn and you got Shanita, you got a red yarn, you got a yellow yarn, I got a purple yarn. And so we start intertwining everything. And before you know it, the colors have all blended together. But you don't know where the red yarn or the yellow yarn or you don't know where one stops and where one ends. You know where it ends because you got the spool and you can clip it. But then you got to start tracing it back. It's a maze. And that's how you have all these things intertwining, because you're trying to figure out what that love you're seeking, what it feels like. How am I going to know what it's like? Well, I don't know if he loves me because I don't feel it. But then when there are some people, Shanita, involved in domestic violence, and I've heard it, and I know you guys have heard it, I don't know he loved me unless he putting his hands on me.
Right.
Or he buying me something after he put his hands on me. I've seen that. I've seen that too much. And we've all been through some craziness that's like, okay, this ain't love.
But
You love me, this ain't love.
the flip side of that, though, I don't think he loved me unless he put his hands on me. Like, so my question would be, and here I am playing the therapist, not that I'm licensed to do so. Like, tell me about your experience growing up. Like, were you beaten?
Exactly.
Were you abused? Because if your daddy cherish you. And so I asked this guy this one time. Now I'm gonna go ahead and share it. So you know how we women, we're grown. This is an adult conversation, and men might say something to us. Like they might say, "Oh, I like your, you're fine, or you sexy, or something." Or, like let's take one of those compliments that we might receive as a woman, and you say, "Okay, well," but it's the imagery or the tone or the attitude coming behind what they say. So I say, that's an interesting perspective. You think I'm beautiful, whatever, fine, sexy. I say, so I got a question for you. Do you think a woman's body is a playground or a garden? He was like, "What the heck that come from?" He said, "This is exactly how, both." I say, "Thank you," and I think
that's an honest answer.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. But the part of it is, how you perceive something is how you're going to approach it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think our body is a playground, you have no respect for the playground. You jump on the sliding board, you jump off the sliding board, you get on the monkey.
You're going to the swings. You're going over from one thing to the monkey bars. You're experiencing all of it. So you're going around and around and around until you get a taste of every little bit, and then you're through. You're done. You're leaving the playground.
But if it's a garden, there's some cultivating and some work.
You got to water it. You got to talk to the plants. You got to talk to them. You got to go out. You got to pull the weeds out. You got to pull them out. You got to beautify it. You can't leave it. And if you leave it, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be the weeds going to be there. The grass going to grow all over the flowers, the garden. You got seeds that's going to be planted on cement instead of in the dirt. Everything going to happen. So I like that concept. I've not heard that, but I like that.
I think that's what we're in. And a woman we got to understand that, you know what I'm saying? That's what we need. That's what we got to have. And, I know y'all saw that. This sermon. It came out about 4, 5, 10 years ago. What the pastor was talking about Boaz.
Yeah. Oh, yes, man. Oh, now that was funny.
Boaz broke.
Yeah.
And he said, "You darn sure don't want nobody to beat your ass."
Right.
But okay, let's just keep it real. But Boaz is the cultivator. If you think about who he was to Ruth, was it? Is that his wife?
Yeah.
Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi. Ruth. It was Ruth. No, it's Ruth. Naomi was the mother-in-law.
Okay, so it was Ruth, Boaz and Ruth. But if you think about it, he was her kinsman redeemer. It's like that cultivator, like this garden, and
wait a minute,
you're gonna come in and plant, but we're not used to that. We really like that man who thinks of us like as a playground, like, come, you can ring my bell. Ring my bell. And I think we're cultivated, we grow up, and we're domesticated to think that we don't see our bodies as they should be seen, or they should be viewed, right? So, or perceived. And so, therefore, we perceive in an indirect or incorrect manner. And that's what we was talking about. Establishing the rules that is right versus wrong. And we know what is right. You know good well you shouldn't be playing on the playground, swinging from one monkey bar to another one.
Risking your life.
That ain't right.
Risking
and then
your
come
life.
home to my monkey bar and say, "I love you."
So, and with that being said,
I'm done.
This has been a real candid conversation. What happens outside of love? This is a Cousins production. We provide real life conversations, raw conversations, honest conversations about love. We are talking all things love and what happens outside of love. So we are LaQuita, Shanita, and Dion, and this podcast is we're gonna do a lot of laughing, and there'll be some tears, but all of these things happen outside of love. So we have to keep going and keep having the conversations, because what will happen is the less you talk about it, the more pain evokes, the more of all those things, the more it happens. The more you talk about it, you'll start to see more healing, more conversations, because it's more room on the outside than it is on the inside. And no, we're not therapists, we're not licensed therapists, but listen, I say go get yourself a therapist. Okay,
It works.
so it works. It does work. You got to let it, you got to be open to it. There are those people who are Christians and say, oh, you just got to pray about it. Well, we had a mental health seminar at one of the churches. I attend Forest Park Church, and they said, you'll go to the doctor about your broken arm or your broken leg, but you won't go about your broken brain. Words to live by. Okay. Because if that's the case, why don't I exercise the same thought process when I hurt my arm? You know what I'm saying? Let me just pray about my arm. So why is it so easy? Exactly. So everything in moderation. All right, closing words. Shanita, you go first.
Oh, thank you for listening to What Happens Outside of Love, a Cousins podcast.
You got some final thoughts, Shanita?
Let's just keep working on love in Christ. Know better so we can do better.
Yeah, I love it. Know better so you, and you know what? In order to know better, we have to be informed, right?
Yes.
So hey, don't be ignorant. I have a friend that says you can teach stupid, you can't teach ignorant. Because Dion, you said it earlier. People are ignorant because they don't want to do better. They don't want to know, they want to stay ignorant. So you can't teach ignorant, you can teach stupid. That's two different things. And we'll, if you don't get it in the rinse, you'll get it in the wash. You'll get it on the way home. Dion, you on mute.
Okay, there we go. I want to say to that end, right. And I think we heard it said best, knowledge is power, right? But knowing, right? There's a scripture I want to say to that. John 17, I think he said, this is eternal life, that they may know you. So to know that God is righteous, he's whole, and he's pure, right? That gives us every reason to be encouraged, to gain the knowledge so we could be more like him, walk in the light as opposed to the darkness, because the darkness just keeps us ignorant. And I've heard it said God looks out for babies and fools, but how long must you remain a fool though?
And you can't be a fool on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. And that's the point right there. My closing words is two part. First part is, let's be intentional. Right? Let's be intentional. We're going to be intentional on what we want, intentional on who we are, and intentional on what it is that we want. That's my first thought. My second thought is that if today's conversation really truly spoke to you, make sure you share it. Tap it, send it to a friend, share it with them, and because we believe that they're going to need to hear it. This is healthy conversation that needs to hear. So be blessed and be loved, but we love you in the LOVE and not the LOVED.
Yes. And you know what? Thank you guys. Listen, these are necessary conversations. What happens outside of love, necessary conversations. When you find people who are being abused, they grow up to abuse. When you find people who are lost and going through so many different things that they can't articulate, we can't articulate, they feel broken, they don't want to live anymore, they're done, they want to end it all. Things are happening outside of love, and nobody wants to have the conversation. We're still living in a time when people are saying, what go on in this house, stay in this house. What go on in this family, stay in this family. You don't tell the family business. So our family's probably falling out on the floor now because they like all three of them done got together and they got a they got a podcast and they talking about the family business. Well, we're not calling names, but you guys know that these things are happening and our families represent your family. So if you're listening to our podcast and you want to share some thoughts with us, please do. You can contact us on social media. And remember, healing and new legacies of love are always possible. Until next time, family, take care of your heart and each other. And here we go. This has been a plump, pleasing pleasure. Better than a triple-decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's our story. And we're sticking
to it.
Until next time, this has been What Happens Outside of Love.
Amen.